Hey guys, I'm Fear. If you don't know me, I'm the current Ratchet& and Clank 2, or Going Commander, Locked and Loaded, however you want to say it, depending on where you are in the world. I currently hold the NG Plus world records for all 7 NG Plus categories. That's like no IMG, no specials, straight NG Plus, all of that kind of stuff. And I recently made this segmented run, and for my standards, it blew the hell up. So I kind of thought I'd just watch it back and I'd talk about it a bit. I'd give some insight, talk about some different stuff, and maybe help you appreciate some of the things that you might not notice unless, someone's walking you through it. So, yeah. Big shout outs to Zem for reacting and helping me out in that way. That was really nice of you. I think a lot of you have come from his channel. So, yeah, welcome to the channel. But first thing, you'll notice the clips kind of change a bit. Some of them are jumping up and down a bit like this one, and some of them aren't. That's because some of them I ripped from com golds, so like the best golds I've done in runs, and others I had to individually record. So this one, for example, this menu is just from com gold, but then I cut the clip. This is now a different clip, and there's a lot of that, and it's made to be as seamless as possible. But this is a different clip now. So the first thing you'll notice is I have swing shot out. So if you kill the final boss in the game with a gadget out or a weapon, it keeps that weapon as your secondary. So I then use that so that I don't have to go to Indako to get the swing shot in this run. I can just store it as my secondary the entire run, and it saves like, I want to say 7, 8 seconds. It's like 7 seconds on Snivelak. It's pretty nuts. Yeah, so that was the first obvious cut. But yeah, you lose a tiny bit of time for having to do swing shot storage in a couple of spots, and this is one of them. But yeah, kind of nuts all the same. See, I'm not gonna watch these loads. All the loads are optimal. I just cut in. I noticed Zem thought I reloaded all the planets. No, I just took the optimal load screens and I just cut them in. It saves me a lot of time. I spent about 50 hours making this segmented to give you guys some context. So yeah, setup list there. So that looks straight simple enough, but okay, so normally you'd take this. Actually, let's get back to the start. So normally how the runners would do this is you'd take this, you'd hyper strike, you'd stop, you'd turn your camera, you'd charge again. It costs you like half a second. But here I just charged straight out and I charged straight out of that jump again. Saves you about 0.2, that second one. This one we do setup list regardless, and then I setup list here. And I save a little bit of time. Rather than doing a turret one, I save a little bit of time by just doing a generic recharge, like double charge. That's frame perfect. You have 1/60th of a second to get that charge midair. And yeah, it's especially harder when you use that method. That wasn't a midair charge. That was just me canceling off a ledge. We'll see more of that. This vendor proxy is actually much harder than it looks. Again, it looks really simple, but you've got to get a really tight angle to the left, which gives you enough of a height boost that you side flip up and you have the height, but not too much that you actually overshoot the portal, but actually enough of an angle that you can get the side flip and hyper strike. So it's quite finicky. This zero drop is pretty straightforward. If you've seen no IMG runs, you've seen this zero drop. It's nothing special. There's no real way to speed up the ship levels for the most part. So yeah, you get the zero drop. You get the zero drop both waves. It's really fast, and then it just takes a bit of loading time. So here, this movement is actually much harder than it looks. So this is one of the ledge cancels I was talking about. We'll see more of these. So what you see, you'll notice I cancel on the ledge, and then what that means is I slide off a bit. So notice my charge was actually canceling a little bit, and now I'm recharging. So basically, canceling off a ledge like that extends your grounded state a little bit, so you can charge from a little bit off the ledge, so you get a touch more distance. It lets you make this jump, for example, and then you can jump really cleanly into that, which is actually really hard to do from that angle. But that kind of goes without saying. I should try not to say that too much. Most of this run is really hard to do on its own, but that's kind of why it's cool. Except for this planet, actually, funny enough. This is pretty straightforward. There's a lot of cuts on this because I needed to swing shot storage it. So it's a bit not as good as I wanted, but still. This is the second planet where swing shot storage loses time. A little bit, but it's not much. But yeah, there's nothing special here. If you've seen no IMG, you've probably seen this route. Mostly it's just being optimal. It's shooting and destroying the transponders in one shot. It's, it's the simple stuff. It's getting the charges at the right angles, maintaining your speed out of the hyper strikes. Like, For the most part, it's exactly what it looks like on this split. Rhino one shot, you know. That Rhino one shot's kind of RNG. It's actually, well, it's not RNG. It's kind of cycle, but you can't really control it, so it's kind of RNG, but it's not. And then here you do it, what looks like a mid-air charge, but it's actually just really carefully timed recharge. So let me show you that again. So basically, on jamming array, your charge boots never lose speed. Normally, the charge boots slowly lose speed to a certain point, and then they're really slow. But on jamming array, they don't. So you can hold your charge as long as you want. So you hold it just long enough to get the hit this ground, which gives you a bit of a height boost, and then you let go as you leave it. And then the height boost you get from dropping the charge lets you clear this gap, and then you recharge. It saves about 0.8 seconds, but it's actually quite hard, so you don't really go for it in runs. It's not really worth it. And then here again, that's pretty much what it looks like. Getting that ledge grabblers is kind of painful, but I mean, you know. And then of course we keep the swing shot out. We keep Rhino, and we get that gold. So that's actually technically slightly slower than Comgold, but again, Comgold's able to use Lancer, which is a bit quicker, and it can use Plasma Coil at a spot because it doesn't have to worry about swing shots. So it's a little bit slower, but it's actually only 0.1 slower because I save time in other optimizations. So then this movement, I can't replicate this movement. Honestly, I literally ripped this movement, well, that movement up to the elevator from an old Comgold because, frankly, I honestly don't know what made it so quick. I was side-by-siding, and I don't know. Doing that movement normally is slow, but for some reason I just took perfect lines or something, and it actually ended up being quicker. So that's actually kind of crazy, but I couldn't imitate it. This proxy saves about 1 second, though, first person climbing is actually about 0.6 seconds faster than the ladder. So that actually only saves about 0.4 seconds, which is so ridiculously minimal. But, you know, we kind of just have to take it anyway. Yeah, it's segmented. You're going to do everything. Now, this arena, I need to note, Zem pointed out in his analysis that I don't actually swing shot storage here. Now, I have a reason for that. Technically, it's possible to do this arena just as quickly with swing shot storage, but the arena is actually really hard to optimize. I've only ever done it once this good, like ever, and it was in a run, so I just ripped the footage from the run. It is theoretically possible to do it with the swing shot as your secondary, but I wasn't going to sit here for 10 hours to get one arena, you know, so that's my little explanation for that, and that's why I do that, just to clear things up. Like, it looks really straightforward, but getting these, like, there are some frame perfect kills here in terms of they're dying. I'm shooting on the earliest frame possible. And if you mess that up, you lose, like, 2 seconds per mistake. So, you know, and it's just a timing thing. And the later the frames go, obviously, the more time you lose. So, this is actually really hard to do. Now, to give you some context, I'm normally happy gaining control... Okay, I'm normally happy gaining control at this point at 132, and we're at 127 right now. So that kind of gives you an idea of how much faster it is than what I can physically do in a run. Like, Maktar is ridiculous in this segmented. That single jump is actually way harder than it looks. Let me show you that again. So this angle is really finicky. And to get this with a single jump is actually super hard. I had to sit here for like 15 minutes to get this stupid single jump. Like, that's the crazy thing about this segment. A lot of the actually harder stuff is not what you'd expect. It's the finicky stuff like that single jump, which is really hard. That charge angle right there. To get this without bonking either on this lamp or this ledge, you don't have much of an angle to work with. But if you get it, it saves like 0.6. Like, there are just so many things that are so perfect about this. So, yeah. 148. The Comgold there is 151.2. And that's when I was using sub-splits before. The best I've ever done RTA is 152. So that's, you know, it was like a 152.6. And this strat saves, like, 0.1. It could actually be a bit quicker, but I didn't really have a good way to stop Ratchet quickly, and so I just kind of didn't bother. To be quite honest. Alright, I'm not going to watch this Electrolyzer. There's nothing you can do to speed them up. Now, this race, I'm also not going to watch. People have pointed out how bad the quality is here. I'm sorry. I had to rip a footage from Scotto, and Scotto used to have really bad quality. It's better now, but Scotto's quality used to be quite bad for recording. but he had optimal race, and so I just ripped his footage. Thanks heaps for letting me use it, but yeah, he had a low bit rate at the time. So that's why it looks a bit finicky. But if you want to see that, go and watch Scotto's 212.4 on speedrun.com. So yeah, so what happened there, you'll notice, normally there's a cutscene there, but I paused, and it actually happened on Aranos 1 as well. So this is one of those finicky things. It's called an insta-skip, and essentially, in spots where the game lags a little bit more, you can sometimes create the lag yourself. You can pause as the cutscene starts, and it skips the cutscene, and then you can unpause, and it saves you like a second, because you don't have to sit and wait, and before you can skip it. It doesn't have to load, all that kind of stuff. And then obviously perfect movement back. So yeah, just a bunch of small optimizations on Barlow. For reference, the best gold anyone's ever done in a run is by me. It's like a 3:16.6 or something. And this is 2 seconds faster than that. On a split which most people call an auto-scroller. So, kind of nuts. Now, Felton, this is actually a bit funny. I didn't think I'd have anything to speed this up until about a month before I was making this. And I accidentally had perfect RNG on like a third try nuke storage, and it perfected. So yeah, you get the first nuke storage, that's pretty straightforward. You charge forward, that's exactly how you do it. But then you'll notice some raritanium chunks start floating over here. So raritanium chunks is right in front of me. That's very rare. I've never seen this again. I've seen them be in your screen a few times, but I've never had it except this one time where the nuke actually hit the thing, so it exploded early, which saved me like 0.7 or something ridiculous. That's also why you can see some stuff blurred out, because I have stream layout stuff there. So yeah, this looks better than having the stream layout stuff. The com gold here is like a 27, so that gives you an idea. Even on a split like that, you can save time by ridiculous RNG. So, you know. Alright, this planet is going to have the first, what's known as a triple charge. So Oozla had a double charge. That was the frame perfect recharge in midair. What this planet has is a triple charge. So you have to do that frame perfect input twice in a row. So let me show you this. So first, you do pretty standard movement. Yeah, so you're up. And there's some obvious splits there because it's really hard to do it otherwise. Some inconsistencies, but this was a really hard planet to segment. So then, yeah, I hit the triple, and then I decoy side flip into a perfect charge to then recharge into a proxy. So, like, that entire second half, that first half was pretty straightforward. It's pretty much what we do in runs. But this second half here, so let me show you. So we cancel in, and then after the cutscene, we do a blind setup. So we charge away, and I get this perfect angle without bonking. And then I get this perfect wrench angle, where I can then mid-air charge twice, so 2 frame perfect inputs, where I then get this perfect angle with the decoy to side flip to the left of this little knob because you'd bonk on that otherwise. And then to get the perfect height on the hyper strike where you don't bonk on any of these stairs. Like, everything needs to align. Like, all of the stars need to align for this to work. I don't go for this in runs for obvious reasons, but obviously you get that charge up. Then we recancel. Normally what we do here is we cancel, recharge, and then we cancel again. And we do a falling neutral into a mega flip, which then allows us to wrench SI with speed, which gets you here and then up to the ship. But here we just charge and we use the height, this little boost that the elevator gives you, into a proxy side flip to reach the ship in one side flip. So com gold for that is, I think, a 51 point something. And to save an entire second or something like that, actually, I should pull them up. Let me pull them up really quick. So yeah, com gold for no tac in NG plus no IMG by me. Oh, it's a 50.9, but that uses triple charges. So again, this loses time because of this is one of those finicky things. This planet would be quicker if we didn't swing shot storage. Swing shot storage still does end up saving time in the long run, but we lose time here to swing shot storage. It could be a lot quicker, but it's still a second faster. Now, this is a second planet in a row which has a triple charge. So we start with the setup this angle perfectly, of course, because it's segmented. In fact, that's another one of those finicky details. Alright, let me show you this. So normally, we charge and we just we go straight forward wrench swing. We don't change the direction on the wrench swing, and we just side flip, and we land like right here. And then you have to adjust your camera around. It's a bit slow. But like I really wanted some of the finicky, tiny details to be correct in this run. I really wanted some of these fine things to just be perfect. And so what I did is I did a slight angle change to a point where I could side flip left, which meant that Ratchet's angle as he lands is going to be better than if he side flips right. Because it's kind of hard to explain, but basically it changes where his angle is going to be so I can charge quicker. So then I land here, which puts me further forward, so I have to do less steps. So I only have to step for like 0.2 seconds rather than the standard like 0.8 or something. Which then lets me charge right into this, and I don't even take as much time. I normally take a little bit of time to kill my speed, so I don't neutral slide, but here instead, I use the neutral slide as I enter L1, so first person, to bring my position back to where I need to be, to make the clip even quicker, where then of course I instantly clip, and just, normally you kind of strafe walk, but in this situation I just tap and like instantly charge. I didn't take as much of a strafe, I really want it to be perfect. Then of course we get flawless movement over here, which is so crisp. I love the movement here. And now we go into our second double charge of the run. So we hit that movement, and then we land here. We do another one. We kind of do a ledge cancel there. This is a bit different. So instead, we kind of cancel our charge, and then we wrench swing. And because we wrench swing, we don't actually fall off the slope. And instead, we can kind of recharge instantly, which allows us to have a setupless triple charge angle right over here, where you can then go straight into that hyper strikeless landing, and then go straight into this boss fight. To give you a concept, that hyper strikeless triple charge took me, I think it was half an hour to hit. Just the triple charge into that boss fight. Half an hour. Like, it is that tight. And that precise. So yeah. So Com Gold here, again, let me pull it up, is a 50.84, which has triple charge. The Com Gold without triple charge is a 51.39. And Swing Shot Storage loses time on this split. So we save like an entire 2 seconds on the best anyone's ever done in a run, which is ridiculous. Like, that's what I'm really trying to stress. This stuff is like just not even close to possible in a real setting. But of course, it is technically possible by a human, as, you know, I did it, so it is possible. But it's not really possible. Oh, and I sat here and did this planet for like 2 hours to get this perfectly as well. And I used like 6 different clips. So we do perfect movement. Even that movement on its own is difficult. Like, you get a lot of newer runners caught up on this movement. So perfect line here, so that you can then wrench swing setupless a little further to the right than what we normally do, so that I can take setupless, and I side flip left, so that I can then charge around this way. You then tap it, go straight into this perfect wall angle. You then go setupless through that wall. And now that's the other type of double charge. So normally you can just kind of flutter, if I've got my PS2 controller. So normally what you do, right, so when, you'll notice normally I just kind of charge straight away. I don't have to throw the turret to get a midair charge, in a lot of these clips in Segmented. And that you kind of just do by doing that. You literally just mash the crap out of R1, or some people just mash. Some people do this weird method where you like slide your nails over R1. I don't do that. But what this method is you cancel with the turret, and then you've buffered an R1 input, and then the next frame you press R1, like the frame after the charge ends, with the turret, you hit R1 again, it recharges. And you need to do that here so that your angle is correct to actually get the wrench swing to then hit this invisible wall for a wall climb. It loads in once you enter first person. And after you hit the wall climb, you need to pull to the left, because the lava directly above you will kill you. But for some reason, there's this little gap in the lava where the lava won't actually kill you. So you pull to the left and you jump up. And then, yeah. So then we do that menu. I actually had to segment that menu because I got the double charge properly and all that movement. And then I screwed up the menu. I'm like, frick this, I'm just segmenting the menu. Alright. Now, this is another one of the splits where it saves a ridiculous amount of time. Alright, so 113.1. That is ridiculous for Tabora. Let me show you the ComGold sheet really quick. Alright, so you see this? This is the ComGold sheet. So, if we look at this, I'll zoom in. I've got a 1440p monitor, so... Oh, actually, I can't zoom in, so you're just going to have to look really close. But, so where is it? Right here. So this is Tabora ComGold. 117. This has a double charge. It wasn't perfect, but it has double charge. But so this is the best I've ever done without double charge route. And this was a god tier gold without double charge, and it was just barely sub 120. It was a 119.99, so we'll call it 120 for the sake of this. But 113. So I saved 7 seconds over the best I've ever done with the next best route. Like, that's ridiculous. And I barely ever go for that double charge routing runs. I've hit it a few times. That's probably one of the more RTA viable strats. In fact, I'm starting to use that now in runs where I need it. But to do it that optimally is ridiculous. Oh, here's another one of those tiny optimizations. It's funny, with this one, Zem actually pointed this out in his analysis, and I hadn't actually fully picked up on it, which is kind of funny. I kind of just was quickly getting to this, and I knew doing a wrench swing was quicker, but frankly, I was so consumed in doing this, I didn't think about the falling neutral. I just accidentally did the falling neutral. And I remember Torp mentioned to me that Zem mentioned that, and I was like, no, it's not. And then I looked at it, I'm like, holy crap, it is. So yeah, basically what happens here is this ledge here, we falling neutral off. As you can see, the timing for that is very finicky. It's very hard to replicate. Which then, because you falling neutral, gives you perfect angle to wrench swing with the speed onto the teleporter. So then out of the teleporter, we do this perfect side flip onto that crate. I found that the day before this segmented. Then we do perfect menu. And then we get an instant clip. So yes, you can always clip in first person. You can do insta clip. But that is a little bit in between both. It's not an insta clip because you're not charging into it. But it's one of the clips where you throw the turret and you jump at the same time. And it pushes you through straight away. They're very hard to get, of course. But so then we hit another midair charge right here. So that we can side flip land over here. And then, okay, I did a trash segment there. But essentially, there's a thing which can happen called instant electrolyzer, where if you line up perfectly, like, not to the pixel, but pretty damn close to the pixel, it will, basically, it'll skip this whole walking animation where he loops around a bit and then goes into the electrolyzer. And you can do that RTA, but I wasn't going to sit here for like 10,000 hours to try and get the instant electrolyzer. I've hit it in runs, but like, you know, I wasn't going to bother for this, so I just kind of segmented it. And I stole a clip where I did it. And then, yeah, the electrolyzer is nothing special. But, of course, we have to do it. So then, perfect angle for death there with the decoy, typical. And then we cut over the vendor. That's pretty standard. Dobbo is frankly one of those planets which, other than the double charge, doesn't really change much. So 106 on that split time. The ComGold, where is it? 108. So another split where we saved about 2 seconds. By the way, while we're at it, look at the time of this run. So we're at 13:19. That's the time of this segmented run. The sum of the best golds in the world up to this point are 13:33. So it's like almost 15 seconds ahead of that. Like, that is ridiculous how much faster this route is. It's 14 seconds ahead. And it only gets crazier as we reach NG+. And actually, this split here. Well, these splits here. So then we have... This is a Frugus 0 drop. This is not really RTA viable because... Basically, if this cycle is even possible, is dependent on how quick the game loads. Where you have to hit this pane as it passes. And that's really hard to do. But it's kind of RNG to if you can even go for that. So that's why that's not RTA viable. But yeah. 24.8. Pretty nuts, Frugus. So Tadano, this is another kind of nuts split. So basically normally you pull out decoy and you decoy side flip across this gap, but of course it saves 0.4 to do this hyper strike, so I do. and then normally you do a side flip out of it, but that loses 0.4, and so we don't. So instead we double recharge. There was a slight recharge there into a setupless decoy side flip up this angle into a setupless next proxy, which is ridiculous, into again setupless. Like, it's just so crisp. Like, there's not much to explain about Tadano other than it's just crisp. Like, it's perfect. That's what this is. Oh, actually, that's one of the small ones. So yeah, normally what we do here is we have decoy out, and then we do a decoy side flip up to here. Which, yeah, I mean, it's quick, but I mean, you lose time because, well, I mean, everything about it loses time. This is just inherently significantly quicker, but lots harder. So you have a pretty finicky angle, and not only do I go for the more finicky strat, I also use, to make my setup even shorter, to save like 0.05, like it's a ridiculously small amount, I take a tighter angle where this slope doesn't bonk you, but instead pushes you to the left, which gets you to the right side of the wing of the hitbox, and pushes you up a little bit so that you can still hit the point. So it's absolutely ridiculous how optimized that is. So 36.3. Again, let me show you the ComGold sheet. ComGold is 37.5. So again, it's over a second faster, which is a ridiculous amount for a category like this. Like, those golds are optimized to the point where if I beat them, I beat them by like less than 0.1 of a second, and I'm beating them by an entire second in this. Okay, so here. This is one of the hardest strats in the game. If you've seen NG Plus runs, you know we normally go to the right and we do some side flips up this way, which is pretty good, but like, I mean, it loses a second to this. So what we do is we do a setupless thing where this vendor pushes you a bit left so that your positioning is fine, and then around the vendor, we setupless decoy to the right, which then gets you on this like barely proxiable surface. It's like perfectly in line with this slope, where you can then double jump out of it to charge up this way setupless, where my angle was a bit bad here, but this is so hard to hit that I didn't bother perfecting it. I then abuse this slope to proxy myself up this way into a setupless single jump. Anytime I do a setupless single jump, they're really hard. They look so simple when they're done like this, but single jumps setupless into like a charge are actually some of the like really optimal things that are ridiculously hard to pull off, and so not many people really go for them in any spots at all. But yeah, this is another ridiculous one. So a 30.9 Bolden, again ComGold 32.02, saves over a second. Like, it's ridiculous. Now this Clank section, I want to clear up some rumors. I'm just going to let it play while I talk about it. I actually didn't use that many splits for this. I actually used a grand total of 1 video clip for this. I took my ComGold for this because we don't have enough information about how the Clank section works, quite frankly. There are perfect RNG bits for every single bit along this way. Like, if I got perfect RNG segment, it'd be like a 20 segment split. However, there's kind of like, after you load into it, all of the chickens spawn in one spot, and then from that spot they spawn in, they kind of work on a cycle. And we don't have much information on how much messing up or succeeding previous things before that affects the future, and how it affects the RNG. So I didn't want to basically cheat by getting absolutely perfect RNG on every single bit along here, when I'm not actually sure that that's theoretically possible. Like, we don't have the info to back up that that's possible. So instead, I just took the safe route, and I took the ComGold here, which is my ComGold. So yeah. There's a little bit of clarification there. I mean, it's still really god tier RNG, and obviously good execution, but that's why it's not segmented more than that. So yeah. So yeah, this is another double charge. We use the turret recharge because, again, it gets you the perfect wrench swing position. This is another piece of footage which is just the ComGold because, well, I mean, my ComGold was perfect, so why would I fix it, kind of thing. Actually, there is a thing or two that I forgot, but like, I mean, when you're handling a 21-minute segmented run and you're dealing with a bunch of things that are like half a second long, you're gonna forget a thing or two, and I forgot a thing or two in this run. So yeah, I take a bit of walking there. That's one of the things I forgot. I wanted to get a setup-less charge there, which would save you about a sec, yeah, 0.7 probably. But I just forgot about it, so I just took the walk and setup, and it happens. Um, I literally just ripped the com gold, and I forgot to adjust that bit. All right. So Gorn, there's actually a major thing that I forgot here. So what can happen? I mean, this is actually Scotto Bozo's Gorn gold because he's got a god tier Gorn gold. It's perfect RNG, perfect execution. Like this doesn't really get beaten without one specific thing which I'll mention. But yeah, perfect execution here. But what can happen is sometimes after you've nuked the first time and you've charged to about this spot, you can get given nuke ammo, which happens very rarely. And it in theory should save about 5 seconds plus. Which is ridiculous, of course. It's huge. But it's so ridiculously rare that we don't I tried to sit down and get it and I couldn't. I tried to sit down when I was making this. I sat here for about 2 hours just doing this split over and over, trying to get a nuke ammo, and it didn't happen once. And then after I uploaded this, I just wanted a theoretical timing on the nuke ammo. And I sat there for another 2 hours, and again, I didn't get the nuke ammo once. I've seen it happen. I've had it like once in a run, but I didn't realize until it was too late. So I didn't actually save time from it because it's not the kind of thing you look for because it's so rare. And Sneepy has had it happen once in a run. I'll just keep this playing now. But again, he didn't realize until it was too late, and so he lost time anyway. He golded, but like compared to Scotto, he didn't gold. So yeah, it's theoretically possible, and it should save a butt ton of time. But it's just so rare that I couldn't imitate it. Like I tried, and I just couldn't. But yeah, Snivellax. So this is the planet we've been storing the swing shot for. So you'll notice I have the swing shot out now. And I use these nodes. Because the other strat is normally you do a wrench swing to, a wrench jump to clear this gap. And then you do a decoy proxy up here. And then off of this little slope, you can do a charge SI. So then you charge around over to this big blue building. And then you enter first person and you climb around. And, it's kind of boring, kind of sucky, and it's kind of slow. So I use the NG Plus strat where you have the dynamo. So yeah, we then go into a blind insta-clip. So that's kind of a hard insta-clip because, again, it's blind. And now we go into a second insta-clip. Now this is another one that's really tight to hit. You have to be dead in line and your timing has to be dead perfect to hit this insta-clip. And then we go set up a single jump into the cutscene, which is ridiculous. And now, so those are small time saves, but then we go into the even more finicky ones. So normally we just do double proxies and we let Ratchet fly up a bit, but I wasn't happy with that. So what I do is I do proxy, and you'll notice I did a wrench swing at the top of that second proxy to pull out the wrench and reduce Ratchet's height a little bit. So I do a double jump because that's, I think, 0.2 seconds quicker. Way harder, but 0.2 seconds quicker. And so I take that jump. Shoutouts to Nath for the idea. And then, of course, just everything set up through here. And then perfect poking. Optimizing poking is quite hard. There seems to be a tiny bit of RNG in it. Where sometimes he shoots himself a bit more than other times. But yeah, this strat... I mean, I've explained poking 10,000 times. Especially because it's reasonably new. So I'm not going to explain poking again. But yeah. Perfect Snivellack, essentially. Now, so let me look. 114.2. The current com gold for Snivellack is 124.11. So that's a mixture of getting really good poking, really good proxy movement, and also, while I'm at it, really good, oh, and also it had swing shot storage, so it saved hella good, hella time there. So realistically, this gold will never reach that because we won't do swing shot storage. But yeah, that saves a ridiculous amount of time. That's why we've been keeping the swing shot this whole run. And now, of course, a 19 flat for the Snivellack split time. The com golds are splitting at 19:28. So by this point, we're 28 seconds ahead of com golds, which is ridiculous. So yeah. Now, Smolg is the next crazy planet on our list, so we need to buy ammo still because, you know, we need to. And then we do a setupless ledge cancel here, so we get the extended grounded state. Into the double charge, you saw it just there, into this angle, where we then do this really tight setupless strat. So again, another single jump. This time it's literally just a single jump. It's a single jump out of a proxy into the blind setup here, where we then, again, blind turn around that corner into not quite setupless there. That's another one of those small optimizations I would do if I was to fix this up a bit more, but that'll come down years down the line into this setupless angle. Now, this might be the single hardest thing I had to do in the run, this proxy route. That double charge at the start took me like a minute to hit. I don't really care. That double charge into the whole route, that is. I can hit double charges consistently, but the double charge into that route took me about a minute to hit. I got it really quickly. This freaking side flip where you go up and then you charge SI into this hyper strike on the rail, which saves about a full second, by the way. It's ridiculously quick. That took me about half an hour to hit. That like 3 seconds of gameplay took me half an hour because it's just that hard. Like you don't quite understand how hard that is until you try it. And then of course like perfect rail. So yeah. Now what we do here. Oh my god, I love this. Is probably my favorite planet in this segment just because of this. So that's 3, 4, 5 mid-air charges. That's 5 frame perfect inputs in a row. I did this RTA, by the way. I actually hit all 5 of them. I've hit all 5 in a row several times now. My personal best for most mid-air charges in a row, I've done 17. So yeah, if anyone can try and beat that, hit me up. 17 mid-air charges. Come at me. So yeah, that Smolg is ridiculous. 106 freaking Smolg, dude. Holy crap. Comgold, 110. Like, that is ridiculously good. Alright, Grelban, there's nothing that really changes on Grelban. I'm pretty sure. I might have just ripped Comgold for this. I'm not 100% sure, honestly. Yeah, no, I did. I know because of this black stuff. So perfect angle, setupless charge around, you can't even see. Turning, charging, you know, everything's perfect. So yeah, again, flawless Grelban. That is Comgold, so it's not going to be quicker than Comgold. Well, actually it is a little bit, because I had better loads, because I, you know, cheated them in, but details. Alright, so then Yeatle. So Yeatle, again, I ripped the exterior from a Comgold because, I mean, what ain't broke, don't fix. This is literally like flawless movement, so I didn't bother fixing it up. You can actually make it slightly quicker with a tiny optimization, but again, I didn't try. But now this is where it gets crazy to finish it up. Like this just stays crazy the whole time. So then here, what we do, right, is we charge. Normally, you keep walking up to here, and then you do a wrench jump to the over here, which is the corridor. Then you charge to the end. But no, here we just say frick that. We're gonna charge. We're gonna do a mid-air charge in the final 10 seconds of the run, because why the hell not? Which then gets you under the ground to hit the bottom few pixels of the trigger for the cutscene, which then warps you to the boss, where you can then do poking. That's one of my favorite strats of all time. And then yeah, you get a 53.4, which well, let me show you. The Comgold is a 54.14. That Yeatle is ridiculously good. And that whole run while I'm at it. So Comgolds, by the way, are 22.08. I'm going for 22 RTA, and I'm going to be doing that live on my Twitch if you want to tune in. I'll have that linked in the description. But yeah, so this is all the best times anyone's ever gotten in a run, together, and they add to 22.08. This segmented run is 21.36. It's more than 30 seconds faster than the best golds everyone's ever done put together. Like, if that doesn't convince you about how crazy this run is, I don't know what will. Like, as I said, this run took me like 50 hours to compile and download all the footage I needed, and then do the gameplay obviously that I needed using my PS2, and segment it all together and do all of that. Like, it took so much time, and as you guys can see, you've actually absolutely blown it up as far as my channel is concerned. So thank you guys so much. I really can't thank you enough. But like, yeah, um, there's just so much that went into this. Like there's things like Scotto. I needed this footage from him, so thanks heaps. Shout outs to Scotto for letting me have his. I think it's just his basically. It's his Barlow race. He gave me his Gorn footage, and he gave me a little bit of Felton footage. I used like 5 seconds of Scotto Felton footage because, well, for some reason it was quicker, and I actually honestly don't understand why. But yeah, and also because I couldn't find any good footage of me. But the rest of this gameplay is mine. So, yeah. But thank you for those who helped. And, I also feel like I haven't had a chance to say this, but to those of you that met the sub goal, it was like 75 subs, I want to say, on Twitch. So paid subscriptions, that is, on Twitch, not, YouTube ones. To make this segmented happen. I just want to say a huge thank you. You guys have been so supportive, and, this would never have happened without you guys. So, thanks heaps. I hope you guys have enjoyed me kind of talking about this run a bit and kind of giving some insight onto how I had to make it. There are so many. Before I end it, actually, let me point out. Let me show you how many clips I had to use. All right. So that's clip 1. This is clip 2. This is clip 3 now. I used 3 clips already. I know because I remember. And then clip 4 cuts right there, but that's actually a really smooth cut. I'm really proud of myself. So clip 4 is there. Clip 5 was after I landed. Now this one's not subtle at all. Yep, clip 6. Clip 7. I used a 7th clip to freaking for the insta skip. Clip 8, I clipped on the insta clip. So yeah, just for Aranos 1, I used 8 different video clips. So that kind of gives you an idea of how much work went into this segmented. So yeah, I hope you guys have really enjoyed this. But thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, you're crazy. Thank you. See you later.